Yo, what the hell's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I'm here to celebrate the year that was with my favorite films of 2025. 23 new releases seen and reviewed this year, which was down 3 from last year's already not so great numbers, and that's even considering me sneaking in 3 at the buzzer here. Eek. I'd be lying if I told you that those numbers did not bum me out at least a little bit. Those are rookie numbers, but I'm willing to give myself a little bit of grace because it's been a wild year with the move. Hell, Reviews with Jake didn't even have a home setup until like a month ago. That just kind of sums up how crazy of a year it was. Is next year going to be better? I really like to think so, and I'm really going to try. I did not create this new home setup for nothing. I intend to use it, and there's a lot of new movies coming out next year that I'm really excited about. That being said, am I fully aware of the fact that life just might continue to life and huck shit at me that'll keep me from going to the theater as much as I'd like to in a perfect world? You bet your bottom dollar. And when that happens, it'll be what it is. I truly do tip my cap to fellow YouTubers that are able to keep up the pace that I used to maintain a couple years ago. I just don't have that in me. And plus, I really want to get back to writing my next script for my next film, which is something that also has been put on hold because of the move. That is a massive priority for me because that script is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I need to kick up the pace and make that thing happen a lot quicker than I'm currently doing, but life just might continue to life. I'm sure that's something we all can relate to in at least some capacity. That there just isn't enough hours in the day to do the plethora of things we'd love to do in a perfect world. And while no, it isn't as high of a priority as it used to be for me, but that doesn't mean it's not important, and that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the hell out of it. The end of the year video is something I really enjoy, especially having abolished the grading system like I did a couple years ago. This is the one opportunity that I have to put films against each other, and boy, do I struggle with that. I kid you not, I was swapping positions on this list while writing it. I mean, whatever I kind of land with right now on what I record, that's final, no changes. So let's first kick things off with my 3 honorable mentions for 2025. Frankenstein, Weapons, and Caught Stealing. It's hard for Guillermo del Toro's latest film to not find a place somewhere on this list. While I did not enjoy everything that happened in the film narratively, the film was helmed too damn good to not give it a nod in some way, shape, or form. Weapons 2 was another film I don't think I enjoyed as the rest of the populace, but that's not to say I did not enjoy the film. It was a ride and I did really like it, and plus, I do feel like if I put some good Zach Cregger love out into the universe will give it back to me in the form of a Resident Evil film that does not suck ass. Caught Stealing making the list as an honorable mention was a bit of a surprise to me, but I guess that'll happen when you only see 23 films throughout the year and 8 of them need to make this list. You know, that'll happen. That's not to say I didn't have a good time with this film. It too was a fun ride, which is a strange thing to say about a Darren Aronofsky film, who typically, through his films, has me questioning life, existence, and all of the existential shit in between. And with that, let's move on to my top 5 favorite films of the year, starting with number 5. The Long Walk. While I wasn't exactly in love with the conclusion for this film, the rest of it was a wild ride. It was well written, it was brutal, and that Shabuzi song that they released for the soundtrack of this movie hits my Spotify algorithm more often than not. Number 4, 28 Years Later. For me, this was a combination of things. Not only the high anticipation that I had for the film, spanning decades of waiting for its release, and it delivering on the zombie-infected carnage, but also the shocking amount of heart and humanity that it had that I did not expect when I walked into the theater. I'm really looking forward to the sequel for this film that comes out in just a couple of weeks, and I am stoked. That is going to be a priority watch for me because I just gotta find out what the hell is going on with Jack O'Connell's character, because that ending, I'm still scratching my head. That was bizarre. Number 3, Bring Her Back. This, oddly enough, is the only film this year on this list that I've revisited, seen more than once, which just kind of goes to show how crazy things are and how busy it feels like I've been. That it just does not compute in my head for me to sit down and invest a couple more hours into a film that I've seen as recently as this year. Like, that just seems ludicrous in my brain. But this movie, I just felt like I needed to revisit and show my girlfriend during spooky season, and her reaction to some of the gruesome stuff that happens in this movie, well, needless to say, it did not disappoint for neither of us. This movie was so damn twisted and brutal while simultaneously giving us an antagonist that felt so tragically human. It was shocking, appalling, and yet another fantastic film from the Filippo brothers, who have so far not demonstrated an ability to miss in this genre. Number 2, The Life of Chuck. Of course, a new release from Mike Flanagan was going to make my list. Let's be real. And this film was equal parts awesome humanity minus the tragedy. Of all of the films on this list, this was the one that really had me wanting to revisit because there's just so much beautiful stuff happening in this movie that it's just simply impossible to absorb it all in the first pass. It's truly crazy how tapped into the human experience this horror writer and director is. You just know when you put on any kind of Mike Flanagan media, regardless of genre, you are going to feel something special. And this film, absolutely no exception. And now, my number one favorite film of 2025, Sinners. Absolutely. Frankly, this one wasn't even close. I knew the minute I saw Sinners that this was an upper echelon film that very few can breathe the same air beyond this year. This was a damn near perfect film from just about every single angle. It was so entertaining from start to finish, and the music in this film and those musical sequences were just cinema in its purest form. Very few films transcend the idea of simply going to the theater, sitting down and watching a movie. This was an experience, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. There are sequences in this film that had me marveling, gawking, audibly wowed, unforgettable, undeniably 1000% my favorite film of 2025. But that is just me. What do you think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with new reviews coming real soon. Thank you so much for joining me in 2025. Have a great new year. Stay safe. Thanks for checking in.